Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. How are you? I hope you all are fine. Today we are going to start our second part of the second lesson, that is the parts of a skeleton. In our last class we have discussed about the more skeleton, and now it is the second part of the same lesson. Lesson number 2 from your book, page number 4. This lesson is actually about the vertebrates. What are the characteristics of vertebrates and their groups? First of all, we should know that what are the vertebrates. In our last lesson, we discussed it, but now we are going to discuss vertebrate with its groups. Vertebrates are actually the animals with a backbone in their skeleton. All those animals with backbone in their skeleton are known as vertebrate. Elephant, frog, cow, all these are vertebrate animals because they all have backbone in their skeleton. Vertebrates are divided in 5 groups: mammals, fish, amphibians, reptiles, and birds. These are the 5 groups of vertebrates in which we divide these on the basis of their characteristics, on the basis of their main characteristics that divide these vertebrates into 5 groups. Let's discuss these all groups one by one. First one is mammals. This group of animals include those types of animal which feed their babies and they have hair on their bodies. All those animals which have hair on their body and those feed their babies are known as mammals. Fish. Second group of vertebrate is fish. Fish can live only in water. This is the main characteristics of this group, that fish can only live in water. Different types of fishes are there, like whale, trout, and so many other fishes. But all fish can only live in water. Then the next group of vertebrate are amphibians. Amphibians are those type of animals which can live both on land and water. The best example of amphibian is frog. You often see frog in your home even, or on roads, or even maybe in your school, and you often observe that frog can live both in water and land. The next group is reptiles. Reptiles are those animals which can crawl. In other words, we can say that crawling animals are known as reptiles. Very common example of reptile is lizard. Lizard is a type of reptile because lizard crawl on earth. Then comes birds. Birds are the animals that can fly. This is very special characteristics of this group, due to which it is different from all other groups. that they can fly. Now look at this slide. You can see skeleton of some vertebrate animal, some different vertebrate animals, and through this slide you can observe that these skeletons are very different from each other. Every skeleton has its own shape. Although all these animals are included in vertebrate group, but their skeleton is different from each other, and they totally support them in the habitat in which they are living. First skeleton is of frog, then bird, then snake, and the last one is of fish. Then look at this picture. This is skeleton of a cat. The main part of any skeleton are skull, backbone that is made up of vertebra, then ribs and legs. But we are going to study about skeleton of a snake, because snake has very special type of skeleton. It has three parts: skull, spine or backbone, and the third one is ribs. As you can see that snake has no legs. The skeleton of a snake is almost entirely skull, spine and ribs. There are hundreds of vertebrae in a snake's backbone, all with joint between them. Because of this, the snake can bend its body back on itself or make itself into a coil. Many of the bones in a snake's skull are only loosely held together. This allows the snake to change the shape of its head so that it can swallow an animal that is bigger than its head. So snake has very special type of skeleton because of its very long vertebrate column, very long backbone, having hundreds of small bones. Then it's now it's time for your homework. There are two questions in your homework. The question number one is write five groups of vertebrates, and second question is write five parts of snake's skeleton. Dear students, this is all about today's lesson, and now our second lesson from your book, that is more skeleton, is completed. Inshallah, in our next class we will start our next lesson, that is animals without backbone. Take care of yourself, your family, and your people around you. May God bless you all. Allah Hafiz from my side.